After celebrating their graduation, two friends went on a vacation together and encountered mysterious fish with their own legs, accompanied by a foul smell. The two friends, breathing together, pressed their ears against the wall, and the next day, even more terrifying fish with multiple legs were running rampant, taking over the world. Welcome to the crazy nightmare of your imagination. Today, I will provide a brief explanation and my personal impressions on the newspaper article titled Gyo Tokyo Fish Attack. A woman named Kaori, after celebrating her graduation, came to Okinawa for a vacation with two friends. They decide to stay at the house of Kaori's young uncle. After having a light meal, they head to the place where they will be staying, only to be greeted by a terrible stench of something dead. They pinch their noses and quickly rush inside, opening all the doors and windows to finally suppress the smell. The house is filled with mysterious and inexplicable things, and when Kaori goes behind the table, she pushes something and steps back, only to see a fish with legs moving underneath. Seeing the fish with legs, deeply shocked, they put it in a bag and throw it out. However, after Kaori leaves, the fish in the bag rises up and disappears. Very interesting. The next day, their friend Erika is at home with two young men, saying that without guys, this vacation would be boring. Kaori is a bit reluctant but can't oppose it. Erika takes the guys into a room, only to find a predator fish with legs standing outside the window. Seeing the terrifying scene, everyone panics and tries to escape, but the fish chases them and even breaks into the house. Well, you might think the guys would come up with something to help, but instead, they just run away. His friend Aki is so terrified that he can't even move. So Erika asks for help, but instead she kicks her friend and runs away, telling me to let her go. Kaori helps her friend Aki up, and together they try to hide in a room, but the fish follows them. However, when they find the room to hide in, Erika is also there and the fish manages to sting Erika. Amidst this chaos, Kaori manages to lure the fish towards the window and successfully gets it outside. To understand what is happening, Kaori goes out onto the balcony and starts looking around, only to see a swarm of fish with legs running along the road. News about them appears on television, and Kaori's boyfriend calls to ask about the new developments. However, during their conversation, which is filled with regretful secrets, the call is abruptly cut off due to a serious issue on the road. Suddenly, the phone goes dead with no response, leaving Kaori worried about her boyfriend. She decides to return to Tokyo immediately. However, just as she is about to leave, Aki says, "Please let me stay here. Erika kicked me," but Kaori insists that something must have happened to her boyfriend and leaves. I thought, why can't we just go together? It's quite strange, isn't it? Kaori boards the plane, and one of her colleagues, a cameraman, is preparing news reports on the ongoing issues. When our two acquaintances arrive in Tokyo, they see that Tokyo is also in a state of great chaos and turmoil. The plane, unable to stop amidst such terrifying chaos, ends up in a major accident, but both the cameraman and Kaori manage to land safely together. The cameraman, whose goal is to find researcher Koyonagi and unravel all these issues, discovers from a photo that Kaori's boyfriend's uncle is researcher Koyonagi, and he proceeds to protect Kaori. He goes with her boyfriend to find his uncle in Okinawa to see what he is doing. When they arrive, they find that during a shark attack, the uncle was infected by the fish and turned into a hideous green monster. Suddenly, a thug chases and captures him, and during the hunt to protect himself, he releases all the pent-up anger he had been carrying and starts beating the monster, eventually putting an end to it. Moot. Meanwhile, Kaori and the cameraman are tied up, but their vehicle veers off the road and crashes. How frustrating it is thinking that everything they attempt fails. It becomes clear that chaos ensues during such times, doesn't it? How they manage, I have no idea. These two survive again. Even when their plane crashes, they survive. It's as if they are the luckiest two in the world. When they come outside, they see fish with the legs running forward to an unknown destination, destroying every obstacle they encounter. It's truly a terrifying sight to behold. A large predatory fish also tries to chase and destroy our cameraman and his equipment, but thanks to his quick thinking and agility, he barely manages to survive. Friend. Thinking about the yogurt, Grandma kept on and on and on and on and on and on. Mash saves and heals Kaori by hitting an octopus. As they try to enter Tokyo City at full speed, they are prevented from proceeding further due to a storm. After trying to enter by crying and then by recklessly charging without any success, they decide to find a place to stay and end up staying together. While gathering specific information about what is happening, they search the internet and discover that people are turning into terrifying green figures due to an infection. They also learn that Kaori's boyfriend's uncle is providing information on this issue. Upon learning this, if they cannot enter Tokyo, they decide to first find her boyfriend's uncle, who is a researcher, and then move together to address the issue. Meanwhile, as Aki is walking along the road, some strange newspaper-like creatures pierce through Erika's body, animate it, and start chasing Aki. Aki runs with all his might, jumps over a fence, and ends up in the midst of a terrifying group of fish. What a pity. Don't become friends with such a terrifying Erika? With such a terrifying disaster happening on Earth, it seems like you won't do anything but cause trouble, haha. Since Kaori knows the house of her researcher uncle, she went there and found no one at home, so she went upstairs to investigate the computer. While doing so, she discovered recent research on legged fish, and then went to the laboratory on the lower floor of the house, where she found her boyfriend transformed into a green creature. Wow, it looks really disgusting. Due to world wars and other serious events, a deadly stench or a lethal gas emitted from the sea emerged, causing fish to mutate, grow legs, and become a dangerous infectious disaster. Truly a real miniature. However, a researcher enters the laboratory and says, "I actually didn't want to show this." And after some strange occurrences, it activates Tadashi's leg. As the saying goes, the stone that is thrown upwards will fall on its own. The next morning, Tadashi, who had been activated and stuck, immediately kicks the researcher in the chest with his leg and escapes. Although Kaori's boyfriend has mutated and turned into a green monster, Kaori, because she loves him, chases after him. Love must be such a great thing. If we talk about the sixth, they fulfill the last wish of the researcher, who was stabbed in the chest, and take him to his storage, then upload the found news and information recordings to the internet. After publishing all the news and information, Kaori goes to help, but all the mutated monsters, fish, animals, and humans attack Tadashi and kill him. Having witnessed her boyfriend's death, Kaori loses all will to live and becomes aimless, but the group convinces her that she needs to survive, and they send her off on a small boat with the survivors. The reason the cameraman wasn't sent with them is because he had been infected during these events, and he stays behind to bid farewell to our two. Unfortunately, we see that these mutated fish and monsters have already taken over the world. As people on the rescue ship talk about how this terrible smell and disaster will never go away, Kaori says, "I've gotten used to this smell," and with that, our anime concludes. So, in today's crazy anime review, I talked about Tokyo Fish Attack. It's crazy and bizarre seeing these ugly creatures with tails, even if they're just small. It's terrifying, isn't it? Have you ever stopped being scared after watching horror movies like this? Just like that, I keep watching such bizarre and crazy things that eventually they stop feeling bizarre and crazy to me. Who would have thought I'd become such a fearless viewer? So, in my opinion, the anime seemed a bit lacking in terms of meaning and content, like it didn't quite work. Knowing such things, it felt like a mutation occurred, with limbs growing and twisting, turning into some kind of mechanical robotic legs, but no, it doesn't go that far. That alone is enough to completely blow my mind. How and exactly why is also very clear, I also made a video about Uzumaki, and Uzumaki's author then is Junji Ito, right? That was also one of his works. Helen, in this case, the anime seems several times better than the manga. It seems like in the 90s, they always prepared to turn plays into anime. They are considered truly amazing works, But whether they can actually be turned into anime or if they should just remain as manga is another question. Also, if such a terrifying disaster were to happen in real life, could you survive? Personally, I really dislike bad smells, so I wouldn't be able to endure the smell of dead fish for a whole day, and I'd probably give up immediately. Compared to zombies, it doesn't seem like they immediately attack people, but still, surviving would be. It might seem tasty, but anyway, there wasn't any impressive or great medicine. If you're wondering whether to watch it or not, thinking it's like noodles, it's not that great. But if you really have a lot of free time, I'd say give it a try. There's nothing else to it. Name. So, what's new and interesting with you all? I've reached 100,000 in the wardrobe and I'm trying hard. If you haven't learned to like it yet, please go ahead and press it. Yeah, thank you very much to everyone who was with me in today's writing, and don't forget to press it, even if you don't learn about sharks. Okay.